Hi, friends. It's Annie. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to run through a movement practice, great for before you go running, hiking, swimming, gardening, whatever you're doing. So, let's get started. Standing on our mats, you can stand at the top of your mat. I'm going to stay in the middle of my mat for right now. And just bring your feet about hip distance. If they need to be a little bit wider than hip distance, that's okay if that feels more comfortable, however you're standing. And just bringing the hands by the sides and maybe gently closing the eyes. Keep the knees nice and soft, making sure that they're not locked out, but there's a slight bend if you tend to hyperextend your knees. A nice strong stance on your mat. Your legs are strong and engaged. The chest is lifted. Tailbone is slightly tilted towards the heel, so you'll feel the pelvis start to rotate forward. And just roll the shoulders up to the ears. Inhale. Exhale, drop them down, release. Feel the ground underneath your feet, supporting you, keeping you upright. And feel a nice, strong stance as you listen to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Good, and gently starting to open the eyes if you've closed them. Inhale, lift the arms, widen up overhead. Look towards the thumbs. Good, and bring the gaze back neutral. Keep the arms up overhead, trying to keep the elbows straight. If they need to go wider, that's fine too. So keeping the arms nice and straight. Feel a lift from the side ribs, so lifting up the mid rib cage, lifting and expanding. Feel the side body expanding from your hips all the way up to that rib cage and then all the way up to your armpits. Nice side stretch, beautiful. On an exhale, bring the right hand down your right thigh, lift up through the left fingertips and over towards the right. Gaze up towards that left arm. Good. Inhale, lifting back through center, both arms up. On an exhale, bringing that left hand down the left leg, lift up through those right fingertips and exhale over towards the left. Good. And then gazing up towards the right arm. Good. Lift up through center, both arms lift high. On an exhale, bend at the elbows. Inhale here. Lifting through the heart. Exhale, bend the elbows deeper, bringing them behind you. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift up overhead. Good. Holding here just for one more moment. Feel the fingertips extend and expand north or towards the sky. Ooh. Good. Bring the palms together through heart center. There was just a moth that flew through the screen. It's the benefits of doing yoga outdoors. And bring the hands by your sides. Take your right foot. You're going to bring it behind the left foot and bringing it over towards the side. So you're just creating a wider stance and a sturdier stance. Lift the arms up overhead. Grab onto your right wrist with your left fingers and reach up and over towards the left. Good, so you're just using that back foot as kind of like a kickstand. Good, inhale, coming up through center. Bring the hands by your sides and step the foot forward. Good, and we'll move over to the other side. So stepping that left foot behind the right foot. Bringing the arms forward in front of you, grab onto the left wrist with the right fingertips, lift up. Inhale and exhale, reaching over towards the right. Good. Good, and inhale, lifting up through center, release the hands and step forward. Good, and if you're not at the front of your mat, just gently step to the front of your mat. Again, keeping the feet hip distance. Place your hands on your hips. So with your hands on your hips, you're lifting through the heart. The elbows are reaching back. Be a little soft in the knees so that, again, they're not hyperextended. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, fold at the hips, forward fold. Nice and slowly, it's our first forward fold. If you have blocks handy, you can place your hands underneath the blocks and then just gently heel toe the feet so that they come mat distance. Toes can be slightly out, heels slightly in if that feels good on your body. And start to bend into the right knee. Look towards the left. Inhale, lift up through center, bend into the left knee, and look towards the right. So you're just moving side to side, continuing to breathe as you move side to side. Bending into one knee or the other, just starting to feel into your body a little bit, noticing where you're feeling the movement. Good, and do one more round on each side. And then coming back into center, just heel toe those feet so that they come to hip distance again, or even a little wider. Keeping the hands on the blocks or bringing your hands to your shins, start to lift the gaze forward, straightening through the spine, flat back extension. Head is neutral, so the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Holding here, breathing. On an exhale, fold, bend into the knees so that you do have a lot of bend in the knees and your belly is coming to the upper thighs. Grab onto opposite elbow and just hang here for a moment. Good, and then we're going to start to straighten the legs. Bring the blocks, if you're using them, to either side of your feet. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Coming into a high runner's lunge with your hands either on the blocks or on the earth. When I'm starting to get warmed up, I tend to use blocks. It really helps. They're like little arm extensions, especially when you have short arms like I do. And so when we're holding here, we're feeling that back leg nice and strong and the left hip rolling forward. Right hip moving back, front foot, right foot is really firm on the earth. Breathe, inhale here, exhale. Either bringing the block on the left-hand side out to the outer edge of the mat or the left hand to the outer edge of the mat and then reach the right arm towards the sky. Good, just feeling an opening in the heart, a gentle twist. Good, and then exhale, bring the hand back down to the earth, remove the blocks to the side, plant your hands, and step yourself back to a plank position. Option here to place the knees on the mat if you need a little support right now. Holding here for a breath, inhaling. And on the exhale, start to lift the hips, come into a downward facing dog. In your downward dog, you can have the knees slightly bent. That might feel a little bit better on the low spine and the hamstring since they're not quite warmed up yet. And just bending one knee and the other. Just starting to open up the backs of the legs and the hamstrings. Good. And then come into a nice solid downward dog for you. Today I'm going to keep my knees a little bit bent. Press into the palms and feel that side body extension that we felt in our standing pose. On an inhale, roll the body forward, come into a plank position. Drop the right knee on the earth, bring the toes off the mat. Come onto the inner edge of the left foot, lift the left arm up. Vashisthasana or side plank. So you're feeling that left hip point reach up towards the sky. And then reach the left arm overhead, reaching towards the front of the room or the front of your mat. Good. And then start to bring the left hand back onto the earth. Come onto your left toes, extend your right leg. Again, or you can have your knees on the earth, holding here for a breath. And then on an exhale, bring the knees to the earth, bend the elbows by the sides, lower the body all the way onto the mat. Inhale, roll the shoulders up to the ears and back, lifting the body forward, cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes under, shift the hips back to a child's pose. Sitting the hips towards the heels, getting a nice foot stretch here. Good. Pressing into palms, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Again, pressing those palms into the earth. Feel that side body extend. Bend the knees if they aren't already. And we're going to start to slowly walk forward towards the front of the mat. So really slow steps. You can try to keep the legs straight if you'd like to, or bend them, just nice and slowly walking towards the front of the mat. Feet about hip distance. Inhale, come into that flat back extension. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, roll yourself all the way up to a stand, nice and slowly. Inhale, lift the arms up. And exhale, swan dive towards the earth. Forward fold. Inhale, coming back into a flat back extension, just nice and slow movement. Exhale, bringing the blocks back onto the earth. Step your right foot to the back of the mat, coming into a runner's lunge on the left-hand side. Again, your hands can be on the earth. You can even tent the fingertips if that gives you a little extra height. And you really want to bring the chest forward, feel strong through the right leg, right hip point reaching forward as the left hip reaches back. I'm just breathing here, noticing where your hips are, how they feel, and whatever else is going on in your body. And start to take the right hand out to the outer edge of the right hand side of the mat or the block, and then lift the left arm up towards the sky. Good. Feel that back leg strengthen. And then exhale, bring the left hand down, remove the blocks off to the side, place hands on the earth, step back to a plank position. Knees can be on the earth, inhale here. And on an exhale, lift the hips up, come into a downward facing dog. One more breath. And inhale, roll the body forward, coming into a plank position. Place the left knee on the earth, bringing the toes off the side of the mat. Come onto the inner edge of the right foot. Lift the right arm, up towards the sky. And feeling that right hip point reaching up towards the sky as well. Start to reach the right arm overhead towards the front of the mat. Feeling that extension from foot to fingertips. Good, and then exhale, bring the right hand to the earth, come onto the right toes, step the left foot back, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good, breathing here. And once again, we're going to start to walk towards the front of the mat. So start with the opposite foot. And just start walking nice and slowly forward, getting your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, lifting arms up overhead. Good. And then exhale, bring palms together through heart center. Take a nice inhale into the heart. And exhale, release the hands by your sides. How's everyone doing? Good? Yay. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, extend through the side body. And then exhale, swan dive towards the earth. Inhale, lifting for a nice flat back extension. Exhale, bringing the hands to the earth or your blocks. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. This time, drop the left knee on the earth. If you need to fold the mat to get some padding underneath the knee, you can do that. And if you have a blanket handy, you can also do that. Toes in the back can be tucked, or you can untuck them, whatever feels best on your knee. And then inhale, bring the hands to the knee, the right knee. Lift up through the heart. Feel the feet nice and strong, the right foot nice and strong. And again, that left hip point coming forward. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Again, that extension, everything is about the extension. And then bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Bring your right hand to your right hip as you start to twist towards the right. You want to twist in the mid-spine, bringing the focus there. And you can continue to hold here. If you'd like, you can bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee and bring palms together as the right elbow reaches high. But if you feel a rounding in your upper spine as you get into this, just back off a little bit and come back into the lifted pose, because you want to remain straight in the upper spine. Good, and if you've come into the elbow, come back up to your knee, lift up through center, lifting both arms up, and then exhale, bring the hands to the earth, and shift the hips back, coming into a half split. On an inhale, lift the spine forward. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, bend the right knee, and then step the right knee back to meet the left knee. Holding here, bring palms onto the earth. We're in a nice tabletop, a solid tabletop position. Shoulders are over the wrists, hips over the knees, and we'll do a couple rounds of cat and cow. So on an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Tailbone reaches high. Exhale, pressing into palms, round through the spine, gaze at the belly button. Inhale, dropping the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, rounding through the spine, gaze at the belly button. Do just 2 more rounds here, using your breath, focusing on the spinal rotation. Good. And then we'll meet in our tabletop position. Tuck your toes under, move the hands about a palm print in front, and shift the hips up, coming into a downward dog. Good. Bring the left foot towards the center of the mat. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky. And again, if downward dog does not feel good today, come into a tabletop position. You can also do this pose from tabletop position, just extending the leg backwards. On an exhale, bring the knee to the nose, round through the spine. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the leg. Good. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the leg. And then drop the knee or the foot to the earth. If you're in your tabletop position, we're going to start to move towards the front of the mat, walking or hopping. So come into the downward dog and then bring yourself forward. Coming into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back extension. On an exhale, we're just going to bring those blocks back onto the mat, stepping the right foot towards the back of the mat. Drop that right knee. Again, if you need some padding, you can fold the mat. Inhale, lift the hands up to the left knee this time. Holding here. Rolling the shoulders up and back. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Feeling that extension. Fingertips are reaching nice and high. On an exhale, start to bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left hand onto your left hip. Twisting over towards the left. And if you did so on the other side, there's that option to bring the right elbow to the outside of the knee and bring the palms together. But again, if you're rounding and it feels awkward, just stay lifted. It feels good on your spine either way. And then Sharky's going to come say hi. Good. Hi, buddy. Good. And then start to come back through center, lifting the arms up overhead. And then exhale, bring the hands to the earth, shift your hips back. And start to straighten the front leg for a half split. On an inhale, lift the torso, straightening the spine. Exhale, fold again. Good. Inhale, lift again through the torso, bending into the left knee, but then you're just going to bring the left knee to meet the right. Removing any blocks off to the sides, coming into a tabletop position. Bring the hands about a palm print in front, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. And again, you can stay in that tabletop position, bringing that right foot towards the middle of the mat, and then lift the left foot up towards the sky. Feel that extension all the way through the heel, fingertips through the heel. On an exhale, bring the knee to the nose, round through the spine. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, knee to nose, round through the spine. Inhale, extend the leg. One more time, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. And then place the foot or knee back on the earth, bringing the feet about hip distance. Bend the knees and start to walk or hop the feet towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lifting for a flat back extension. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees and start to roll yourself all the way up to a stand. Good. Getting up onto our mats, we're going to do a little bit of balance before we finish our practice. Almost there, and you're almost ready to get out on your trail. So bring the hands to your hips, bringing the weight into the right foot. Lift the left knee up towards the chest. On an exhale, start to bring the body forward, coming into warrior three, extending the left leg back. And you can start to reach those fingertips towards the back heel. Bend the right knee and place the left foot on the earth. The toes come on the earth. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Good. Just breathing here for a moment. Start to bring the body forward, coming into a 45-degree angle, and then rotate the body towards the right. So you're rotating from the mid-spine. And like we did when we were with our knee on the earth, you're going to bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee, and then the right hand to the hip. If you're here, lift the spine back up, coming straight, twisting over. If you'd like to come into the full twist, you can bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, palms together, and just remain strong through that back leg. We're trying to open through the heart, so trying to keep the upper spine straight. Good, and wherever you're at, inhale, lift the elbow or the hands up towards the sky. Start to slowly straighten the front leg. Bring your hands to your hips, and then reposition to the wide angle of your mat. Nothing fancy, we're just coming to the wide angle. Toes are slightly in, heel slightly out. Inhale, lift through the heart, strengthen through the legs, and exhale, fold. Release the hands to the earth. Come into a flat back extension. You can use a block underneath your hands if that feels good. We're going to bend into the right knee, lift up through center, and then bend into the left knee. Just moving side to side, getting into the outer edges of the hips. Good. And after you hit the left side one more time, come back into that flat back extension and then fold again over the legs. You can place a block underneath your head if that feels good, whatever height, and hands can just rest on the earth. Good, and start to inhale, coming back into that flat back extension. Lift the right toes up and reposition them towards the front of the mat. Walk your hands towards the right foot, come onto your left toes, heel toe the right foot closer to the outer edge of the right hand side of the mat, coming into a lizard pose. Just lifting the heart forward here. Good, sinking the hips. And then on an exhale, step back to a downward facing dog or a tabletop position. Good. And then start to walk or hop the feet forward towards the front of the mat. Inhale for your flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, roll yourself all the way up to a stand. Good. Shrug those shoulders up and down. Bringing your hands to your hips. We're going to start to bring the weight into the left foot this time. So inhale, lifting the right knee up towards the chest. Exhale, start to bring the body forward, and then extend the right leg back, warrior three. You can keep the hands on the hips, or if you'd like, you can extend the arms so the fingertips are reaching towards the right heel. Inhale here. And on an exhale, bend the left knee, place the right toes on the earth. Inhale, arms lift up overhead. Good. Really strong back leg. Feeling that right hip point rotating forward. Good. On an exhale, bring the body forward at a 45-degree angle and then rotate towards the left. So you're keeping it lifted and rotating. Good. Holding here for a moment. And then bringing the right hand to the outside of the left knee and then the left hand to the hip. Alternatively, you can bring the right elbow to the outside of the knee, palms together, and twisting, trying to keep that upper spine straight. And just remembering to breathe. Good, and wherever you're at, releasing from the twist, bringing the arms up through center. And start to straighten the left leg, and then bring the hands to the hips and reposition yourself to the wide angle of the mat. Good. I'm just going to turn around. Bringing your hands again to your hips, elbows reach back, heart opens, and then exhale, forward fold. Good. Release the hands to the earth. And we'll just hold in this forward fold. Hand position can vary. You can even come into that flat back by placing your hands or forearms on the block if that feels better. Or you can reach the fingertips underneath so that they reach towards the other side of the mat, bringing the crown of the head low. Just really kind of paying attention to what your body needs today. Good, and then wherever we're at, we're going to come back into that flat back extension. Again, you can use a block under the hands. This time bending into the left knee, coming back through center, and then into the right. I'm just moving back and forth. Good. And the next time you bend into the left knee, reposition those toes towards the front of the mat, walk the hands towards the left foot, come onto the right toes, heel toeing that left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Left pinky will come to the inside of the left foot, lizard pose. Broadening through the chest, lifting forward. Good, and then on an exhale, step back to a downward facing dog. Place your knees on the mat. Bring the knees wide, toes together, and sink the hips back for a child's pose, bringing the forehead to the earth. Option to also bring your forehead to a block. And just relaxing here. I sometimes also like to place a block underneath my belly or my chest for a little bit of support. Good, and let's slowly start to lift out of our child's pose, removing any props that we're using. We're going to come onto our seats, so bringing the knees back closer together and just shifting off to one side or the other, extending the legs forward in front of you. Good. Removing any flesh from underneath your sit bones, just press your fingertips or palms into the earth, flexing through the feet so the toes are reaching towards your face, and you're just lifting through the heart. And then slowly walk the hands back. The fingertips will reach towards the back of the mat, and press the fingertips into the earth as you start to bring the body forward. So it's just a slight movement. You're using your hands to really press forward. If it feels better, you can also place the hands on blocks and lift through the heart. Good, and we're going to gently release, Removing the props. If you do have blocks, place them underneath your knees. Just to give a slight bend here, because we don't want to get too stretchy into the hamstrings before you go out. So again, lifting through the heart. And then exhale, start to bring the body forward, a nice straight spine for as long as you can, keeping that spine nice and straight, that extension. Holding here for a breath. And then round and roll, bring yourself all the way down. Dropping the head. If you have the blocks underneath the knees, it's a really nice place to put your forearms then too. Good, we'll gently start to lift out of our forward fold. Nice and slowly, removing the blocks. Extend the legs forward, reach the arms forward, and slowly start to lower yourself all the way on to your back. When you get there, hug the knees into the chest, hanging onto the knees with your hands. Oh, Sharky. Sharky likes to join yoga. Good, and then coming into a happy baby by grabbing for the outsides of the feet and bringing the knees towards the armpits. And you can rock side to side here, or you can just stay stationary. Sometimes that feels good for the low spine. Good, and we'll gently release the legs. Bring the soles of the feet together. Hi, buddy. And bring the knees wide. You can also use blocks underneath your thighs if that feels good. And place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Supta Baddha Konasana, one of my favorite poses. And just breathe here. This is how we'll close out our practice today. So you can continue to hold in your Supta Baddha Konasana, or you can extend your legs long and bring your hands by your side for your Shavasana. And begin to deepen your breath. And if you have remained in your Supta Baddha Konasana, taking your hands to the outside of the thighs or the knees, bringing the knees together, soles of the feet on the earth. If you're in your Shavasana, just bringing gentle movement to fingertips and toes. And then gently bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet on the earth. Hug the knees into the chest. And then roll yourself to one side or the other. And you can use one arm as a pillow. And then gently pressing yourself up to a seat. You can keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze, getting into a nice, comfortable spot. Hands resting gently in your lap or on your knees. Spine is nice and straight. And bring your palms together at heart center. Lift through the heart center. Bow your head gently towards your hands. Thank yourself for making it here to your practice, to your mat, making time for yourself today. And I thank you for being here as well. Opening the eyes. Thank you so much, my friends, for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Do it before running, after running, whenever you'd like, whatever you'd like to do it for. Thank you. Have a great day.